Anyone keeping up with me on Twitch or on Discord the past couple months knows I've been obsessed with the Little Nightmares game series, particularly the second one, because I fell in love with Mono, the paperback child. He's courageous, loyal, caring, resourceful, determined on saving his friend Six, not to mention adorable. And the environment, it hits like the right amount of spooky and eerie and beautiful. And the music, woo, don't get me started. And the monsters are every bit as enchanting and haunting, while the animation of the characters had me so buried emotionally into this game. But after the first game, I didn't expect Mono to make it. But this ending, I wasn't ready for him to suffer like this. My heart. I'm adopting this child. Give him the love he deserves. As for you, Six, let's move on with the video. Welcome back, wanderers and illustrators. I am your host, Bettimus, and today I'm not doing a drawing, but I'm gonna make a plush. Been a couple years since I've made one, but like I said, I fell in love with this game, fell in love with this little character, and at the time I made this, there was no Mono plush, so hey, I'm making my own. This pattern is a couple years old, and I don't remember who made it or who I got it from, but I've kept it, and it's been like one of the best patterns in my opinion. But please, let me know in the comments if you ever find the original creator of this pattern, and I will happily link them and credit them. Also note that I did make this plush partially on stream, so the quality is gonna bounce back and forth, and I apologize for that. Also, there was this flickering that I couldn't fix, and I bet it had something to do with the streaming versus just recording. Alright, now that that's out of the way, it's pretty self-explanatory, just tracing and cutting out the pattern. So I'm cutting out two patterns for the face. One of them is out of felt, but that's going to be a backing because I'm going to embroider his mouth onto the plush, which is another thing I have not done, at least not by hand, on a plush. But this was my first time using this fabric. Actually, it's so soft, which made it a little bit difficult when it came to sewing it up because I've been so used to working with felt in the past. But I wanted to give this plush just that huggable feeling because Mono deserves hugs, and not from this little witch. If you want to check out my playthrough of the Little Nightmares series, I'll link the playlist on the corner here and in the description. I usually just do the eyes as buttons and kind of call it good. But again, I was pulling like all the stops for this plush. He's gotta be adorable. He's special. How do I explain how much I love this child? Once everything is stitched up more or less, I turn it inside out. There were a couple spots I missed, but it's easy to go back and stitch them back up, even by hand actually, because this fabric does such a good job at hiding stitching. And did I mention how soft it is? Bruh, I cannot get over how soft it is. So the larger pieces I do sew up with the machine, but now putting it all together, I start using just simple hand stitching. That little purple heart you see on the left, I cut that out of felt. And I do love putting a heart in these plushes. Usually I go anywhere from pink, red, and purple. I was just vibing with the color purple for mono, that's all. And yeah, it is inspired by a particular build a plush shop that I will not name because I'm not sponsored. After that, proceed to stuff in the rest of the plush, which I will add the heart around the chest area once I believe the firmness that I want has been met. Is that a way to put it? Anyways, he's cuddly stuffed. Anyways, moving on. Gotta put on the ears. Yeah, I gotta do this by hand. Time to start making the clothes. I don't attach the head yet because making the shirt, it will not fit over his big ol' head. So I try measuring his legs and then I figured, oh wait, doy, I've got a pattern here that I can kind of work off of. I do have a plan for making the fold of Mono's pants at the bottom, and I do have to make it a little bit longer than the pattern, obviously a little bit bigger than the pattern too, but I figured I can always scale the pants down in case they're too big. I go with 6 pieces for the pants because he's a little sitting plush and just straight up pants is not gonna work. I've tried it before, it does not work. I have to compensate for that little curve on the back of the plush. Here I'm taking the first measurements after sewing the sides. This will be easier for me to figure if I should stitch more of the sides or we're good to go. I do have to work on the folds at the bottom of the pants first. It'll make it much easier when it comes to sewing all the center of the pants. And yeah, I messed up that fold at the bottom and I had to undo. Every time I mess up, I have to rip out the seams that have been made. And that takes a while, so add another 20 minutes because of my pacing, and again, it's been a long time since I've sewn anything. But all that struggle ends up working out real nice. Final stitchings for the pants. And hey, it's looking good. Look at that. Oh, nice and snug. Now to sew on that little button. Nice and cute. Okay, so for his shirt, I kind of used the same technique and used the original pattern as a guideline, but it ended up being smaller than it should have. It showcases his whole midsection. And I had to redo it. I had to resize everything. But again, I wanted it to be a slim fit because the coat is still going to go on top. And a second time, it worked out real nice. Added a collar to it because since it looks like a button up to me, instead of adding buttons, because again that was the only little tiny button I had, I just do a little cross stitch along his shirt where buttons would be, and it holds up very nice. I know I say that a lot, but like gosh darn it, I'm proud of this plush and I'm not gonna be ashamed of it. So once the shirt is nice and fitted, it's time to put his head on. Again, I don't have to worry much about the coat not slipping on because I want to make it so that the button actually works. At least the top one, because that's the design. So I'm going to be able to slip that on and off on him. And on goes the head. Look at that. Yay. It's ended up being a much harder process than I remember it. Could also be that I let myself be distracted real easily by the chat because this was being live streamed. Oh, look at that. His head is on. Oh, he's so cute. He's a little bit on the balding side. Well, not balding, but shaven side. We'll get to Mono's hair in a second. But first, the coat. And oh boy. Although I had to make the shirt a second time, it didn't give me near much of a problem as Mono's coat did. And why? Because I sort of miscalculated on a step that almost almost cost me to the point where I actually wanted to cry because I was tired and exhausted, and I had been already on day 5, going on to 6 with little sleep because I was just so hyper focused on this. But yeah, for the front, I do cut where the center would be. I cut it a little bit at an angle. That way, so when he's sitting down or he's just, I just have him there on the desk or on the bed, wherever I'm gonna let him rest, his coat will naturally stay open, just like the game. So I knew how to get the shape in there, at least like the shape I wanted for the coat. Kind of this bellow. Is that the word? Bellow? Volume look. And I knew one thing. I wanted the coat to look just as nice on the inside as it does on the outside. That means I had to cut double the amount of pieces that I was already cutting. So again, when I thought it was not gonna work out, it was discouraging. But I kept going, and darn it, it was worth it. I may have made myself bleed over it because the needle wouldn't go through at some point, and I wasn't paying attention to where my finger was at as I was trying to push the needle through. And yeah, I got myself pretty good between the finger and the nail. No, I don't have that filmed. It's not on the video, but it happened. Where the near crucial mistake ended up happening was around the arms where it connects to the coat. It ended up being almost a tight fit, but it ended up working out pretty okay in the end, and I ain't gonna complain because the sleeves end up bellowing out by the time it gets to his hands, and I'm alright with that. It works visually, it works out really nice. So blood, sweat, and tears. All of that checks off. I made marks for where the buttons would be at and ran the coat through the machine to make that buttonhole. And for the color itself, it's the same way I did in the shirt. I didn't go too technical with the color. I just know I wanted it to fold over nice and neat like that. And then I lost footage. I lost the footage of when I was adding the little tab where the key would go, and the phone died. It crashed, and it took the footage with it. Well, I may have lost all that footage, but I can still show off the buttonhole. Excellent for holding this key that I've had for a very long time. It's so pretty and elegant. And since this is a working tab on the side, not only can he hold the key, he can also hold this extra set of keys with a chocolate cupcake thing on the side. My keychain of the Virgin Mary, bag of dice, this extra large key, a pencil, and last but not least, arson. I mean, what? It can hold multiple things, you get the idea. The footage. More footage was lost when I was making his hair. But his hair is the same fabric as his skin, at least on the top. Underneath it is a different, thinner fabric because when I tried to layer the same fabric on top of itself, it gained so much volume and it was a lot harder to get the sharper edges. Once that's all stitched down, we're moving on to the final phase, his iconic paper bag, which it's more of a box in this case because I have to make it out of cardboard so that it keeps its shape. Mono just looking so cute. I do end up making it bigger at first, but in this case it's alright. It's a lot easier to size it down because it's just nice rectangle sides. I think in total I end up sizing it down about twice. To measure where the eyes would go. And funny enough, the eye holes end up aligning where his eyes are at. It was very unintentional, and yet it happened. It's one of those like happy accidents. So now glue and tape to hold the thing together. This is all going to go underneath, and on top I'm going to add butcher paper because it's a paper bag. We gotta make it look like a paper bag. Add glue on the certain edges so that the paper doesn't actually move and it stays in place. Try to keep it to a minimum but have it in crucial areas. And then to cut out the eye holes, I actually use a needle and I sort of dot along the rim of the eyes in the cardboard and just poke, a bunch of tiny holes, and then I rip it off. It created this texture that I didn't anticipate, and yet I am so happy with. I'll be adding the fabric on the inside to create the black holes, but first I gotta finish up the outside by painting it. I don't want to accidentally paint the fabric. Once it's done, oh look, oh he's so cute, oh Excuse me while I hug my plush, because, you know, he's already done. There you go. Glue down the fabric. Nice and tight, nice and good. And some tape to keep it down in place for now. And here he is. Mono. I keep plush. Yeah, I poked myself a couple times, but it's alright. It was so worth it, because he's absolutely adorable, and now as of recently, I have looked up mono plushes, and I see a bunch of them, but none of them look as cute as mine. Call it a biased opinion, but you know what? I love my mono. Now that he's complete and I've had him for a while, I really want to make him that iconic fedora. Look just how cute he looks. He's even jumping for joy. Oh, and I also want to make him that postman hat. It's another one of my favorites. Oh well, some other time. But for now, thank you so much for watching. I'll take good care of Mono. And as a reminder, I'll leave a link in the descriptions to all my social medias, including Patreon, and now my Ko-fi site, where you can make a one-time donation if Patreon's commitment is a little too scary. That's if you want to, of course. And until next time, storytellers, illustrators, and coffee lovers, stay cozy.